Today on Nova Legends podcast, I have new Yorktown soccer coach Katie Kooiman, who recently just got promoted from the JV coach and she's going to coach varsity. Coach Katie is a Virginia Tech graduate where she played midfield. She's from Fredericksburg, and I think she was teaching in Stafford County schools for a while, and she's been up at Arlington for a year or two. She'll tell us all about that. Coach, congratulations! Thanks for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, of course. Well, is the news that you're coaching varsity, or is the news that you're coaching boys, or is it both? Now, recently, I know woman coach recently led, I think, Richard Montgomery or a team in Maryland to the state title, which is news. But I mean, we do see women coaching boys sports, track and field, and other sports. But I don't know. To you, is it news that it's boys, or is it just news you're coaching varsity?
I think for me, it's just news I'm coaching varsity, especially here at Yorktown. I don't think that anyone batted an eyelash, really, especially having been in the program last year, and really hoping that sooner rather than later, it's just assumed that it is just news that I'm varsity. But I do think there are some aspirations involved of, being a woman to win a state title in Virginia. So.
Yeah, of course. Well, is coaching boys soccer much different than coaching girls soccer?
No, I think the major difference is just personalities, but that changes team to team anyways. So the approach for boys and girls as humans might be a little bit more nuanced, but the game itself is pretty similar.
Right. Have you thought before about coaching boys? I mean, was this kind of intentional to one day coach boys, or did you just looking for coaching jobs and it just kind of worked out this way?
So I actually was potentially going to coach the Yorktown girls last year as an assistant varsity, and it just didn't work out with my own schedule and personal life. And then Mr. Crewfeld came to me and really needed a boys JV coach because our old JV coach decided to step down. And he was like, I know you said no to soccer, but I think you should coach. And I also really need a boys JV coach. So it just happened by circumstance to begin with.
And that was a good experience.
Yeah, we had a great year last year.
And then the good thing about that is a lot of the kids pretty well already. Because did you also assist on the bench on the varsity last year?
So I ended up, there was some coaching turnover mid-year. And so I stepped up as a pseudo assistant when it was needed to kind of support Carlos since he no longer had an assistant about halfway through the year.
Yeah. So my son Chandler played for Coach Carlos, class of 2022. We had a great experience. I think he's a phenomenal coach. What are some of the things you learned from Coach Carlos?
I think he definitely knows how to run a program. I mean, outside of his Yorktown experience, he just brought so much knowledge to the game. I think he definitely was business minded, and that's something that can really move kids in important directions. And I think just handling the volume of boys who want to play soccer at Yorktown, he really just set the standard of things you can do to make sure that all parties understand why or why not, and making sure that tryouts are efficient because we have so many boys to look at in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, and the parents at Yorktown, not just for soccer, I think all the programs, expectations are through the roof. Have you gotten a sense? I guess even JV coaches deal with it. Have you got a sense of what it's like to deal with parents in Arlington County?
Yes, I have. I learned very early in my career that we all actually want the same thing at the end of the day, and that's what's best for the students or the players. And so sometimes we come at it from different angles, but I think that there's definitely just a lot of people involved in wanting the best for their child
Yeah,
at Yorktown for sure.
yeah. Well, have you do you know some of the huge personalities of the coaches in the Liberty District? Now, Carlos, obviously he's not coaching anymore, and I guess the McLean coach has also stepped down, a big personality.
Mm.
But you have Coach Bo over at Langley. You got Coach Jimmy at Washington Liberty. You got Coach Eddie at not a big personality, but a great guy. Have you got a sense of some of the personalities you'll be competing against in Liberty?
I definitely, by proxy have from seeing Carlos's interactions with them and then, hearing the stories from the years of Carlos. He's, if nothing else, a great storyteller. So listening to him talk about, what the last time they played or this time that they played and um, how those personalities really shone through in a couple situations for sure. Have heard some stories.
Yeah. Now, are you coaching club soccer at the same time?
I am not,
No.
no.
Do you enjoy coaching club? Because I know you must have played club, but did you?
I played club. I don't have a desire currently. I don't see that in my future. I love soccer and I love coaching soccer. Um, and I like the circumstance and situation I'm in where it's at my full-time job and it's an addition to. I don't see myself wanting to get into the throes and depths of club soccer.
Yeah. Do you expect to hear from club coaches regarding their personnel? Is that something you're going to welcome, or are these things maybe you haven't thought about yet?
I've started to kind of introduce myself to some club coaches, also just for the particular reason of being present at games when I can. I just want the boys to know that like I support their soccer journeys in full. And the Arlington soccer website is not the easiest to navigate to find schedules for anybody. So I definitely will have an open communication line, but the high school game and the club game are so different. And I think that the joy is that you can separate them. So, while I know that they have plenty of valuable information, sometimes the boys are a little different at high school. So I do want them to know who I am and have that communication, but more so of just knowing each other and less of talking shop.
Yeah, that's right. And I do think the club coaches have a lot of interesting input, but I think you're right. And the high school game is different enough where you can be your own person and try to do both. And also, I was going to say that people always ask me, why don't I go to more club games? And as you're saying, I don't even know where the clubs are playing, what leagues they're in. It's almost impossible to navigate it. So I don't, as a someone who covers high school, I don't even try to cover club.
Yeah. And
I
there's
have
so many teams. So
yes, so many teams, so many leagues. Um, it's good. A lot going on. So I know you also teach in the school system, but you're not actually at Yorktown. Is that right?
I am at Yorktown. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but in Stafford, you were elementary school PE
Yeah.
teacher.
I was actually an elementary classroom teacher.
Okay.
I've done elementary. Um, I've done fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade math. I was an instructional coach, advanced academics coach, and now a ninth grade health and PE teacher.
Okay. Do you think that gives you an advantage to watch the ninth graders at recess? Maybe you have a soccer unit. Does that help, you think?
I think it does also. Um, if you're not able to really give effort in a PE setting, it tells me as a coach a lot about character and responsibility. And so it's nice to see who has like skills in any regard and then also who just is competitive enough to be putting in that much effort into PE. So it's been nice to get to know them in that setting also.
Yeah. Coach Hannah works in the building too, doesn't she?
No.
I should, okay. Yeah, I was going to say if that was the case, I bet you'd be the only two varsity coaches who are both in the building because it's so rare. I'm an old guy. I played at Robinson class of '84,
Okay.
basketball, not soccer, but all the coaches were in the building. It was rare for a coach not to be in the building, and now everyone's in the building. How have you? What is your impression of the kids up here as compared to the kids in Stafford? Stafford is a suburb, but I guess it's more of a far suburb than Arlington, which is more of a small city. But are the kids the same or they're different?
I think there's quite a few similarities, more similarities than differences. And I think that the game has grown so much. When I was playing club, Stafford didn't really have a full-blown club. My team was kind of like a self-serving entity that used the Stafford Soccer label. And now Stafford Soccer has, just as many teams as Arlington does, and it has really exploded down there. So I do think that there's more similarities now than there was when I was coming up a long time ago. The Bethesdas and the Arlingtons and the Braddock Roads were like an elite group, and we were kind of solo on an island in Stafford. And now Stafford is starting to compete more.
Yeah. And the parents are the same in Arlington as in Stafford?
Yeah, yeah, and I coached at a high school in Stafford, Colonial Forge High School,
Yeah, sure.
a while ago, and I would compare Yorktown and Colonial Forge by like student population, parent involvement, soccer abilities. They were very similar.
Yeah. Do you live up here or do you commute from down
No, I
there?
live I live in Arlington.
Yeah, that traffic would drive you crazy.
Yeah, it wouldn't last long.
Yeah, exactly. So you're talking about Stafford. I think over the years, my son lost more games to Stafford than he won. I always felt they were always good. The teams that he played, always athletic, and they would, they would at times lose kids to the bigger programs. Their top kids may go to like a MLS next, or whatever the flavor of the day was. But they were always athletic, big, good soccer players down at Stafford. But talk a little bit about how you got into the game. You mentioned that your team was kind of a team that got adopted into the Stafford family. Who are your first important coaches, and how did you first start playing soccer?
So I'm a very sports oriented family. And I have a sister who's a little less than a year older than me. So we did all the sports, everything we could get our hands on right away. And then kind of settled into soccer. We were both pretty decent, so that helped. Um, but I also have the unique experience of I played on the same travel club team from fourth grade through graduation. So I didn't there weren't levels, there weren't like our team moved up. At that time there was no ECNL, but WAGs was the elite level. And so we started in I don't even know if ODSL soccer exists anymore, but
Yes,
the
I think it
old
still does.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that anyone really plays it, but we started there, and then as we got more competitive, we moved up, and I stayed with like the same core. So I have one travel coach in my entire career. His daughter was on our team, a hugely important man in my life. Tom Donahue. He played soccer at Clemson. I have no idea when, but he stayed with us the whole time. So, and I also, because it was a one team, we had to match the age of our oldest player.
Yeah.
It wasn't by birth year back then. You just played on whatever team you wanted to be on. So, I think that helped me to grow my game very quickly because when I was 14 is when we started playing in the U19 leagues based on having a senior on our team who pushed us to U19.
Wow, that's interesting. What are some of the things you learned tactically, or maybe people management skills from Coach Donahue?
He's definitely like a hard-nosed traditional soccer coach. I think I learned like my tenacity from him. I learned how to manage a game, but also sportsmanship. He would be the type of coach that would like close the goals on us. Like he would just shout out goals are closed in the middle of a game if he felt like we were like up by too many. Like we were going to respect the game and not continue to score on other teams. And also just like commitment. Not many people are with one coach and one team for that long. So you definitely have some like highs and lows in there. And staying with him were like the major skills, like life skills I learned. And he was a defensive minded coach. I mean, we scored a lot, but defense first. I was a defender. And I think I also coach defense first, and that's probably his influence coming through.
Yeah. So why did you go to this godforsaken place called Virginia Tech? I went to UVA.
I'm so
So
sorry.
exactly. So tell us about going to Tech.
So, long story made really short is in my soccer journey, I got the dreaded soccer burnout right at the end of my high school career and decided not to play in college.
Mhm.
And my travel coach didn't think that was going to serve me well, and so we agreed that I would entertain Division 3 because I could be a student and an athlete and not just a soccer player. And I was still against it, but then at the last second, I had that regret of like, wait, I'm never going to play soccer again. And so I ended up going to Virginia Wesleyan
Mhm.
down
Great,
at
great
Virginia
program.
Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were top 25,
Yeah.
and my sister at the time was playing at Roanoke College.
Mhm.
So I knew a lot about Wesleyan because they're in the same conference. And so at the last second, I decided to go there, and I went there. Um, it was a good freshman year. I logged a lot of minutes. I think I got an all-state something or other award, rookie of the year finalist, and it just wasn't the competition that I needed. I needed something to be a little bit harder. It wasn't the college experience I expected it to be. So I decided to transfer, and I was offered a roster spot at ODU, and then that felt like I'd be in the same situation, like not enough of a challenge. And so through connections, I got a chance to walk on at Tech, and I transferred to Tech and then walked on. Chose that program because it seemed like the biggest challenge that I could actually have a chance of doing. ACC is the best soccer in the nation for women in particular, and so I wanted to see if I could do it, and then ended up walking on. I spent my sophomore year walking on, was rostered my junior and senior year.
Who was your coach there?
My first year was Kelly Cagle,
Mhm.
Duke Hall of Famer,
Mhm.
and then my senior year was Chugger Adair, who's the current coach.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
What did you learn from him? He's been very successful.
he is. I just actually saw him last weekend. I went
Oh,
back to Tech and got to see him, and Matt William was there when I was there also. Um, I think kind of the same things. Like I learned how to play a lot faster. I learned how to work a lot harder. And I also learned like you the Division 1 level is truly something else. Like you think you've played soccer and then you go play at that level against those teams, and you your technicality has to be perfect, and your strength has to be there. And so balancing all of the schoolwork while also truly being an athlete first, because the amount of time you have to put into it is so great. But
yeah.
I think he's a great coach, and I'm so glad he's still there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so you've worked with some great coaches, Coach Sugar, Coach Carlos, Coach Donahue. Uh, who's the Virginia Wesleyan coach again? That's
Bowers.
all right. The same
Jeff
coach.
Bowers.
Same coach.
Still
Yeah,
there.
I
Yeah.
did. I think I interviewed him last year. So so as you step into this new job, do you know exactly the type of head coach you want to be? I mean, do you have strong opinions? Is that one of those things that you're thinking about, or is it like it's like natural when you coach soccer, you just coach soccer?
I think both, honestly. I think that, what's most important to me is this game's going to end for everyone at some point. Some of these boys, this is their last chance to play competitive soccer outside of like an adult league. But, um, and it really should be a tool to develop these character skills that you need through life. Soccer's opened doors for me just by being on my resume, and it's who I've met, and the people who have watched me play. It's done so much for me that for me it's developing a place where these boys are having a great time playing, becoming better, hopefully winning because that's the most fun, but and also just becoming men of character as we're moving through it. So that part I've put a lot of thought into. I don't think that comes easily. But when soccer starts going, that part just flows naturally.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have you thought about putting together a staff to help you at Yorktown?
Yeah, we're working on it. I think I don't want it to be just anybody. I have a clear vision of who I think the type of person I'm looking for is. I had a great assistant coach last year that just graduated from Marymount, set a bunch of records playing there. She was wonderful. I'd love to have her in the program in some capacity. She's if she stays, it would be, I think, her 7th year coaching JV at Yorktown. So she's really seen the program. Um, but I need to take my time to find those people that I want because I don't want to, again, building that culture and that vision. I need people who help me in that regard.
Yeah, of course. Well, I know you have a great goalie coming back. Tristan was only a junior, right?
Yes.
And I know I don't know all the names, but you got a lot of good players. But I know you the way the rules are, you still have tryouts, so you don't want to we don't want to assume anything here. But have you started to think about how the pieces will fit together? Because you coached the JV team, you know that there are some really talented players that were on the varsity last year. Have you begun to think about how the pieces are going to fit together?
Yeah, I think also, they grow so much from year to year, and they've played a lot of soccer since I last saw them. I mean, they've also physically grown. Some of the boys who were freshmen last year have come in much taller, much stronger than they were. So I have an idea of how they played last year, but I'm just excited to see how they come out this year and see, while I will be shaping the personality of the team, also seeing what they come with this year. A lot of them last year as juniors had a great time. And sometimes when you flip into senior year, it becomes a little more serious because it's your last chance to win the district championship, or it's your last chance to make a name for yourself, or those things. So, interested to see how some of the personalities might or may not change.
No, it's gonna be exciting. Um, Liberty soccer is always exciting on the boys and the girls side. It's always very even, even though
Yes.
sometimes Yorktown makes it easier on the girls side, but the boys side it's always going to be a dog. It's always going to be a dog fight. How about style of play? Do you know what style you want to play, or does that depend upon after you look at them in tryouts and you see what exactly you have?
I think it definitely depends on, who we roster after tryouts. Like I said, I'm very defensive minded. I feel like defense wins championships. And so I'm a build from the back type of coach and defense from top to bottom. I think everyone should defend. I think that I'm also going to lean more always towards possession oriented play, but I think it definitely depends. Formation and personality all depends on who we get coming back.
Yeah. Well, one thing about Arlington schools, there's a lot of great kids in these schools. Just getting them to all come out. Sometimes they think their club commitments are too big, are too great for them to play high school. So it's so important to just get all the kids to come out. Well, as a big fan of Yorktown soccer and somebody who takes a lot of grief when they lose, I get a lot of kids tease me. Um, I'll be your biggest supporter. So I just want to wish you luck and thanks so much for coming on. It's so great to meet you. I'm very excited for you. I got a nice message from Quinn Belt saying what a great selection you were.
Oh, I
Um,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, he's a great player and great guy.
Yes.
So yeah, so just want to know we're all behind you and we're very excited to see how you'll do.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, it's
We're
great.
looking forward to seeing you at some games.
Oh, for sure. I'll come by and say hi.
Perfect.
All right.
Please do.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. Have
Take
a good
care.
day.
Bye bye. You too.